Welcome to Tent Talk, the podcast with Nancy McCready, where we talk about life under the big tent of God's presence and the provoking process of discipleship. Here we go.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tent Talk. This is Nancy McCready. Welcome to the series At the House. My friends, if you can't be free at home, you can't really be free anywhere. And so it is true, if you're free at the house, then you're free anywhere you go. Because you are the house of God, and when God makes you free at the greatest depths possible inside of you and in the most private place where you live, which is at your home, at your house, with your people, in your own skin, then my friends, you are getting free. It's time for us to care more about what's happening privately than what is happening publicly. And as I say in my book, From Trauma to Trust, until the church is free privately, she can never stand in her full authority publicly. So this is a very timely word. Take a listen, share it with others, subscribe, give Tent Talk a 5-star review so that we can get it out to more listeners and the message can get out. Thanks so much for being with me today as we launch out the series At the House. You see, home had never been my sweet spot. Have you ever thought like this? Here on this series, At the House, I want to make it very clear that if you can get free at home, my friends, you can live free anywhere, with anybody, at any time. Years ago, I would have left my house and gone to the ends of the earth because that's where all my needs were met, was outside the house. Being at the house could sometimes feel very claustrophobic. I talk about this quite a bit in my book, From Trauma to Trust, The Making of a Messenger. And I talk about how the claustrophobic relational pressure at home was greater really than almost anywhere else that I would be, because at home, this is where it's really happening. This is where you see really how mature you are in love, kindness, tenderness, preferring one another, all of these things, right? Oh, how easy it is when you're outside the house to be charming and wonderful and helpful and always available. And then when you get home, you remember home, don't you? When you get home, you're like, I'm too tired, get it yourself. And you just feel this pressure, always expecting things of me. So therefore, we're always seeking the sweet spot outside the house. In this series, At the House, I want to talk about a few things in a very down-to-earth manner. Some things will be excerpts from my book. Some are just things that I am hearing from people that I work with day in and day out who are in the thrashing throes of true deliverance and true freedom coming to them. Because the first house that you get free in is your very own internal house. You're called the temple of God. And years ago, when I would have gone to the ends of the earth to do ministry, to do anything with anybody, God had to say to me finally, Nancy, I'm going to bring you home. Because I would say to him, oh, Father, send me to the nations. Just don't make me go home. Right? Now, that may sound crass to you, but that was the truth for me. Because home had never been my sweet spot. But oh, my friends, over the last 25 or so years, oh, how God has been delivering me at the house. Because where there can be real freedom, the love of God, not the love of man, not human love, but the love of God can truly flourish inside of you and find its way out of you to others and, of course, to God. Now, you can hear the little squeak because I am at the house, and that's my new pup, Bo Baxter McCready. He's a 4-pound miniature dachshund, and he's a prophetic sign to me for Germany, okay? But he and I and Caitlin and Wynn, we are having a time. So there you go. You're at the house with us, because that is a sign right there that love has definitely matured at the McCready house, because we have never had an inside pet. And so Wynn and I are test driving our freedom at new levels. So welcome to At the House. This is where we get really free, live our real life, and then He can send us out anywhere to be with anybody at any time. And eventually, what happens at your house, the freedom and the depth that happens at your house, at home, can actually be a part of what we bring to the house of God. The actual church that He's building, where the kingdom of God that's breaking out inside of us in a very real way finds even greater expression as we come together in the house of God, the house that He is building. And it doesn't look anything like what church has looked like in the past. So I've said this before, but I'll say it again as we launch out in this series at the house, is you cannot fake freedom, my friends, for much longer. You cannot live in trying to get back to the first days of your first love. God is not taking you back to some early stages of life with Him. He's taking you deeper in the house. He's taking you deeper into new depths of His love. Don't look for those early days when God did everything for you because you were a babe. Now He says it's time for you to pursue me. Hey, Bo McCready. And this is where we have to recognize, if you're pining away for the early days of your crib and the bumper pads where God did everything, and listen to me carefully. No, the love of God is maturing you. The love of God is awakening you to Him at new depths. And love expresses itself differently as it matures. So in this series at the house, my friends, the sweet spot for all of us is Him, and He lives within us. And He will mature you like never before at your own house, in your own skin, with your own people. And then it's going to get lived out. So stay with me in this series at the house, because He, my friends, is doing something so deep, so private, that the freedom that comes, the ability to truly love and speak the truth in love and hear the truth in love, to live it out and to mature, only He can accomplish that. He has different ways of doing it in us as we are unique individuals, but then there are those things that are so true of Him, they'll be true in all of our lives. I've shared recently in my school, the Producer's Way School USA, and will soon share it in the Producer's Way School Poland, as they are deepening in the preparation for living as producers, is Jesus knew how to choose life over death because He had been eating the butter and the honey. The butter and the honey is the richest and the sweetest, which is the grace of God and the love of God. My friends, this is about to set us free at new depths. If Jesus needed the butter and the honey, so do we. And there is ample supply of the butter and honey in God's house. He has made His home inside of you. And then with those stones that He calls His sons, His people, then those lively stones become how He builds His house. So stay with me in all of this. At the house, my friends, freedom is on its way at entirely new depths. Love you all.
For more information on Nancy, please visit nancymccready.com or follow her on social media at NB McCready.